Hi everyone, Drew Etzel here. Today we're going to be talking about one of the most exciting parts of the Lenses 6.2 release, the VS Code plugin. It's going to allow you to interact with your streaming data all from within your IDE VS compatible editor. As you can see here, the Lenses VS Code plugin joins all the other ways that Lenses allows you to interact with your streaming data infrastructure. We have, of course, our web UI, but now joining that is the IDE plugin that allows users and humans to be able to interact directly with the underlying streaming data. And then, of course, on the AI robot side, we have our new and improved MCP server that allows AI copilots and AI agents to also interact with your underlying streaming data. Keep in mind, all of this is always going to be secured by the robust role-based access control that Lenses brings to the table. We're going to be demoing connecting the VS Code plugin to Lenses. Then we're going to be demoing using VS Code, building a streaming application. So we're going to be building a Kafka streaming application that takes a source topic, makes some modifications, and writes it to a downstream topic. So we'll be finding our source topic, we'll be verifying the data in our source topic, and then we'll be testing once we have our streaming application up and running and viewing things in the destination topic. Finally, just a quick word before we get into the actual demo. What we're going to be demoing. We're going to be demoing building a Java-based streaming application that takes a look at credit card transactions. Specifically, it's looking for approval times that take an inordinately long amount of time. So the terminal is moving very slow for whatever reason and giving a very slow approval. So we're looking for approval times greater than 45 seconds. And then we're going to take all of those events that have those greater than 45-second approval times, and we'll be writing them to the downstream topic, that can then be gone and processed, or, part of an alert or an investigation into slow terminals, that sort of thing. So that's just a quick idea of what we're going to be demoing, and now let's get right into the demo. All right, enough preamble. Let's actually see this product in action. Let's take a look. Here I have my Java streaming application open in VS Code. Normally, I would be switching back and forth between VS Code and a web browser that would allow me to, view topics, view schemas, view data using Lenses in my underlying streaming architecture. But now, with the Lenses plugin, it's just a matter of setting things up, and then I can do all of the sort of Lenses activities that would take me out of VS Code. I'm going to do it all within VS Code, never leaving a single program, just working with different VS Code tabs. The first step to that is to come over here. I have already installed the VS Code plugin. You'll see the lenses.io icon over here. This is where I can then connect to Lenses. It's going to ask you for the URL of your Lenses installation. Once you enter the URL, it's then going to ask you for either your username and password or OAuth. Most of you will be using OAuth, but if in my case here, for my demo server, I am using username and password. Then you just type that in. And that, you can see, Lenses has now been authenticated, and I have this whole Lenses sidebar over here. You can see I can see the different connected environments. I've got a dev, prod, and staging Kafka clusters. I can view all of my connected topics. Every time I do something over here, it's going to open up a tab. So then I can be jumping back and forth between my code and the actual Lenses tab here. And then if you scroll down some more, you'll see we have IAM and other configurations. Now, you'll only see your IAM or any IAM at all if you have the right permissions, because remember, you're still using the Lenses role-based access control. You're still fully secured by Lenses role-based access control. One nice thing is the Lenses plugin actually allows you to run simple searches right here in VS Code, but it does need to create a quick index for you. So if you click here, it says start indexing. It's going to quickly index your topic names, your cluster names, things of that nature. And now that allows you to actually search. You can see here, my search is already 72 entities, all that good stuff. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually use the shortcut. So the search shortcut is Command-Shift-L. So if I hit Command-Shift-L, that brings up the search bar at the top that allows me to search across my Kafka estate. Now, the first thing I need to do to start developing my streaming application is I need to take a look at the upstream topic. So I need to take a look at the credit card topic and, look at the schema to be able to then filter that topic based on slow authentication or slow authorization, excuse me. All right, so I'm going to start typing in. I know my top credit card topics all start with CC. So here I have CC transaction live. This is definitely my topic. And I can see that it's in the EU dev cluster. So this is going to be the perfect cluster for me to start working on its development. I'm not working with live data. And I click on it. And so I've gone to it here and I've opened up a simple SQL search here. And then I can just click this little run button here and I can actually come in here and I can see, all right, this is my actual data and start to examine this particular topic. The other nice thing I can do here is I've got this topic has now been highlighted. I have these three little dots. I can also now bring up the schema. So now I actually have, and I can, if I want, I can close these results over here. So now I can actually look at my schema, look at my code side by side, and easily work on my code. The other thing I can do that's really cool is I can bring up these side by side, and close this one out. I can bring up this side by side view here. So now I've got my code and my schema side by side. I could come back over here. And bring up the data snapshot and run that here. And again, I'm quickly moving between my code, the schema, and the actual live data. Okay, now that I've done my initial data discovery, I found the topic I want to work with, I found the schema that's tied to that topic, let me come and kind of test the idea behind my streaming application. If you remember when I was talking about the demo, we're looking for credit card transactions where the approval time in seconds is greater than 45 seconds. So looking here at my schema, you can see a bunch of different key value pairs. Aha, here's the one that I'm probably going to need to work with. It's called approval time seconds. So now that I know exactly what the field is called, it's just a matter, I'm just going to actually come here. I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to come over here to my SQL snapshot. So this allows me to run SQL commands right here. It's got this little offset thing here. This is just its default setting, but I'm going to actually hijack this where clause. And I'm going to use it for my test here. So we're going to say where approval time in seconds is greater than 45. And so now this is, in theory, what my streaming application is going to be doing, but I just want to run a quick test here to make sure, all right, this works. The idea behind this, there are transactions that meet this criteria, that sort of thing. So then I hit the run button here. And now, lo and behold, here we have, okay, there are actually lots and lots of slow transactions. 82 seconds, 79 seconds. So we definitely have some credit card terminals out there that might be having some problems. So this has kind of validated the proof of concept of my streaming application altogether. This type of data exists. And then I have this baseline here that once I get my my Java streaming application up and running, I can come back and compare. So because the output of my streaming applications should look very similar to what the output of this SQL command is. So now that I've got my validation, I can actually go finish writing my code, test it, and deploy it, and see what's going to get put into that downstream topic. So let me go away here for just a second and deploy my code. I'll be right back. Okay, now my streaming application is up and running. I can come back in here and start to use VS Code to actually troubleshoot and view the results of my streaming application. And then I could update my code as needed, depending on what my troubleshooting results are. Now, one thing to keep in mind, sometimes, when you add a new topic like we did as part of our new streaming application, you might need to hit a little refresh here so that it goes back and pulls down the refreshed topics. So then I happen to know that my topic is named slow transaction alerts. So I can bring up my search again, type in slow approval alerts, and then I can see here that yes, my slow approval alerts topic is on EU Dev. So I can come and click on that, and now I've got my slow approval alerts here, and I can actually, let's move this over so it's side by side. Close that one down. So this is my source topic, and this is my destination topic. My downstream topic. Let me go ahead and run. All right, so now I've got my approval amounts. As you can see here, everything is over 45 seconds, as I would expect. If I come over here, I can run the same alert here, or run the SQL there. If I come over here, if I switch over here to the upstream topic with my my SQL here, I can run this again, and I can then come in and verify, and I can make my comparisons. I could compare and contrast across these two and verify that I'm filtering the data the way I would expect. All, again, from within my VS Code application. Some other nice things you can do is you can add, you can add different topics to your favorites, the ones you might be working with. So in my circumstance here, it would make sense for me to add both slow approval and my CC transaction to my favorites. Once they're down here in favorites, I can work with them just like they are anywhere else. So you can have the topics that you work with day in and day out here automatically in your favorites. I could also come in here and verify my schema, make sure the schema came up correctly for my downstream topic as well. So as you can see here, I was able to, all from within my VS Code, I can write the actual Java code for my Kafka streaming application. I can verify the idea behind the streaming application with a simple SQL command. I can then actually implement the streaming application and come in and quickly view the results of the application, all without ever having to leave my VS Code interface. There are plenty of other things you can do as well with the VS Code, and the long-term goal for the VS Code plugin is to actually have complete parity with the Lenses UI. Everything you can do in the Lenses UI, you'll eventually be able to do within the VS Code plugin. That is the long-term goal. But as you can see here, it does going to greatly improve your development process. It's going to minimize context switching. You'll be able to keep your eyes on a single user interface and quickly be able to make the kind of tests and verifications of schemas and streaming data while you have the actual code that's interacting with that data open live for you to interact with. All right, that wraps up our demo for today. Thank you very much for your attention. I encourage you to go and try out the Lenses VS Code plugin. It is available now in preview. If you go to our GitHub repository you see on the screen here, you can easily download it and get started working and trying out the new Lenses VS Code plugin. Thank you very much for your time and attention.